Hello and welcome, I'm Pallavi Sharma and you're watching BIZWORLD Weekly, a show where we bring you the top stories of the week from across the world. Let's start with the market check. Indian equity indices ended on a positive note on November 14. Sensex was up 0.1% at 84,561.78 points, while Nifty was up 0.12% at 25,910.05 points. On Nifty, top gainers were TMCV, Eternal, BEL, Axis Bank, Trent, SBI and Adani Enterprises, while top losers were Infosys, jaish-e-mohammad, Tata Steel, HDFC Life, TNPC and JSW Steel. Among sectors, Nifty IT was the top loser as it fell more than 1%, followed by Nifty Metal and Nifty Auto. Meanwhile, Nifty Bank surged 0.23%. Indian rupee dropped to end at 88.74 against the US dollar on November 14, and gold prices in Delhi on November 14 were 24 karat gold priced at 12,800 rupees per gram, while 22 karat gold was priced at 11,735 rupees per gram. If you are in Delhi, congratulations, you don't have to pay for cigarettes anymore. You probably automatically are smoking 25 to 30 cigarettes daily on an average during severe AQI levels at zero cost. You just step out and breathe. Delhi's air pollution crisis in this month has reached unprecedented severity, with many parts of the city recording air quality index levels well above 400, placing them in severe category. On November 13, monitoring stations such as CRRI Mathura Road recorded AQI values as high as 430, while areas like Chandni Chowk and Wazirpur saw figures between 440 to 460. These levels translate to toxic air that poses serious health risks even to healthy individuals and can be life-threatening for vulnerable groups like children, the elderly and those with respiratory issues. The worsening pollution has prompted the Supreme Court of India to issue stark warnings. The bench, led by Justice P.S. Narasimha, explicitly urged lawyers and public to avoid outdoor exposure, recommending the use of virtual hearings to prevent further health damage. The court emphasized that standard masks are insufficient against Delhi's toxic air and said that the pollution could cause permanent damage to residents' health. And the court also pressed the Punjab and Haryana government to submit reports on actions taken to curb stubble burning, an agricultural practice that is widely blamed for worsening Delhi's smog. In terms of state response, the Delhi government has allocated approximately 1,885 crore rupees towards pollution control and environmental welfare measures. Now, these funds are being used to upgrade public transport with cleaner fuels, push electric vehicle adoption, expand green cover, enforce tighter waste management, and invest in air quality monitoring infrastructure. Despite these expenditures, critics argue that without effective implementation and better coordination with neighboring states, especially to curb stubble burning, the budget alone cannot reverse Delhi's pollution crisis. The health impact of this pollution is also severe and far-reaching. Prolonged exposure to PM 2.5 and other fine particulates are linked to respiratory diseases, cardiovascular problems, and impaired lung development in adults. For children, the consequences are especially dire. Studies warn that persistent air pollution can reduce IQ, worsen asthma and other illnesses, and lead to poorer academic performances in children. Experts caution that Delhi's children may face shortened life expectancies, compromised immune systems, and also chronic illnesses if pollution persists at current levels. The government enforces staged curbs under Graded Response Action Plan, including bans on construction, restrictions on older fossil fuel vehicles, and closure of schools for young children. Still, clear skies and cold, calm winds during winter months often trap pollutants close to the ground, creating a persistent smog layer. This stifling environmental crisis requires urgent multi-pronged action and cooperation beyond Delhi's border to protect the health and well-being of millions. The longest US government shutdown in history has ended, but no one is actually celebrating. Well, except Donald Trump. The president has signed the funding bill. Democrats failed to secure the healthcare funding. Republicans are facing political backlash. Millions of Americans deal with the fallout of cancelled flights, unpaid federal workers, and overwhelmed food banks. Also, this funding bill will help the government run only till the end of January. So it's like a pause to the shutdown, and then if the lawmakers fail to agree to a broader plan, there will be another shutdown. So what happens now? Our next report tells you more.
The United States recently experienced the longest government shutdown in its history, ending only after President Donald Trump signed a critical funding bill. So what is a shutdown, and why does it happen? A government shutdown in the U.S. happens when Congress and the President cannot agree on funding legislation, causing government agencies to lose the authority to spend money. This results in the furlough of hundreds of thousands of federal employees and many agencies either scaling back or ceasing their operations. During this recent shutdown, over 1 million government workers went without pay, and more than 20,000 flights were canceled or delayed, affecting both travelers and the broader economy. Now, what does the new bill signed by Trump say? The bill signed by President Trump contains several important provisions. It reverses the firing of federal employees that occurred during the shutdown, restoring those jobs immediately, while protecting workers from layoffs until at least January. It also guarantees back pay for all government employees affected, whether they were furloughed or worked without pay, including critical staff such as air traffic controllers. The bill ensures continuity in major welfare programs like food stamps, preventing millions of Americans from losing crucial benefits. By offering these protections, the bill aims to stabilize federal operations and prevent further financial hardship for public workers. However, not all of the economic consequences from the shutdown are reversible. The U.S. Congressional Budget Office estimates that around $11 billion in economic activity has been permanently lost due to delays in federal contracts, missed paychecks, and disruptions in the travel, hospitality, and retail sectors. About 1.25 million federal workers missed an estimated $16 billion in wages, and many contractors will never be compensated for missed work. Airlines and other businesses lost significant revenue from more than 7,500 flights that were canceled or postponed, and multiple small businesses left unpaid may struggle to recover. Additionally, consumer confidence reached its lowest level in 3 years, indicating lasting pessimism that could suppress economic growth for months. Restoring full government operations will still take time. Experts anticipate it will be about a week before services such as air travel return to normal, as the workforce is gradually restored and system backlogs are addressed. While all federal workers will receive back pay, many contractors will not, and the after effects on businesses and consumers could linger for much longer. Furthermore, the data disruptions and policy uncertainty caused by the shutdown may influence future decisions by institutions like the Federal Reserve, with potential impacts on interest rates and economic recovery.
Munir, he is the most powerful man in Pakistan. Until now, it was just being felt, it was informal, but now it is official and on paper. Pakistan has passed the 27th Amendment. This gives the man unlimited power. Let me tell you how. The amendment was passed with much criticism from the opposition. They even staged a walkout, but none of it worked, and now it is passed. At the heart of this amendment is the creation of a new post, Chief of Defence Forces, which is to be held by Munir. This move abolishes the long-standing office of the Chairman Joint Chiefs of Staff Committee, a position traditionally seen as an inter-service coordinator balancing powers among the Army, Navy, and the Air Force. By merging this role with the Army Chiefship, Munir becomes the uncontested supreme commander of all military branches under the Constitution, concentrating vast authority in one individual. The amendment explicitly grants the Prime Minister power on the recommendation of CDF to appoint the Commander of National Strategic Command overseeing Pakistan's nuclear arsenal, with the caveat that this commander must come from the army. The amendment also grants lifetime constitutional protection, privileges and immunity from prosecution for officers elevated to 5-star ranks of Field Marshal, Marshal of the Air Force and Admiral of the Fleet. Munir, promoted to Field Marshal, enjoys legal shielding akin to the President of Pakistan, making him effectively immune to any legal challenge during his lifetime, short of an impeachment-like removal process. Further, the amendment dilutes the powers of Pakistan's Supreme Court by establishing a new federal constitutional court, restricting the Supreme Court's authority over constitutional matters and fundamental rights. This judicial restructuring is widely viewed as an attack on judicial independence and mechanism to shield the military and allied political actors from legal scrutiny. By curtailing the judiciary's role and centralizing military power constitutionally, the amendment effectively sidelines civilian oversight. Since Pakistan's independence, the military has been the most powerful institution in the country, frequently overriding civilian governments through coups or informal influence. The 27th Amendment formalizes this dominant role, embedding military supremacy within the constitutional framework. Critics argue that the amendment undermines democratic norms, entrenches authoritarianism, and makes civilian governance increasingly ceremonial. The opposition has decided to stage protests. They call Munir a mentally unstable dictator, but can they stop this from happening? Last time it led to the arrest of the former Prime Minister. This time it could be no different. China's economy is witnessing a slowdown in consumer spending. It has slowed down, and this is concerning lawmakers in Beijing. The festive season also did not bring much of a joy here. In October, retail sales were expected to rise just 2.8% compared to the previous year, marking 5 consecutive months of deceleration and the lowest annual increase in over a year. But why is this actually happening, and how will it impact the growth of the country? Here's a report.
China's economy, once a global engine of growth, is now struggling with its slowest consumer spending momentum since the pandemic rebound began fading over 4 years ago. In October, retail sales were expected to rise just 2.8% compared to the previous year, marking 5 consecutive months of deceleration and the lowest annual increase in over a year. Economists say this trend results from a high base effect and 1 fewer working day. But more fundamentally, it spotlights deep-seated problems: stagnant household incomes, a lackluster job market, and persistent anxiety among consumers. The government in Beijing has repeatedly called for stronger domestic demand and recently renewed pledges to significantly boost the consumption share of GDP. But household caution remains high. The latest data reveal that spending during October's National Day holiday, traditionally a major shopping and travel period, fell short of last year's already modest numbers. Targeted consumption subsidies on items like electric vehicles and home appliances have provided only modest relief, as the broader problem is still weak wage growth and fragile job prospects. Manufacturing and exports still offer some comfort. October's industrial production, while slowing to 5.5%, continues to be among the world's fastest. And China's exports, though recently experiencing their first dip in 8 months, may rebound as global demand for AI hardware and electronics grows in 2026. Analysts suggest that overseas markets could help offset China's soft domestic demand for some time, though the risk of external shocks remains. By contrast, the property market remains a drag. Fixed asset investment shrank 0.8% in the first 10 months of 2025, and property development continues in double-digit contraction, a major blow since real estate has long been synonymous with household wealth in China. Government moves, such as an extra 1 trillion yuan in fiscal measures for local projects in city budgets, might eventually stabilize growth. But these policies take months to impact the real economy. Despite the challenges, projections suggest China can still achieve its full-year target of around 5% GDP growth, with consensus estimates pointing to 4.9% next year. However, the story is increasingly bifurcated. Manufacturing and exports remain resilient, but a true, sustainable recovery will depend on policies that bolster wage growth, restore consumer confidence, and fundamentally shift China toward a consumption-driven model.
Pakistan's economy. It feels like a high-budget film that flopped, but the filmmaker does not want to give up. It just flops again and again. Its economy is not just in crisis, it's actually on life support. Pakistan's industrial base is collapsing and private investment is plunging. Over the past 6 years, private investment in the manufacturing sector has crashed by 46%, leading to a rapid disintegration of the industrial foundation that once powered the economy. Frequent policy flip-flops, soaring energy costs, and currency volatility have severely hampered the industries, especially export-oriented sectors like textiles, leather, and engineering goods. Large-scale manufacturing output fell by 1.5% in the fiscal year 2025, reversing recent growth trends. The textile sector, once the backbone of Pakistan's exports, is now producing at levels lower than a decade ago. Now, these developments have resulted in sluggish GDP contribution from the manufacturing and mining sector, stagnating at around 13.2% for 6 consecutive years. Neighboring economies, including India and Bangladesh, are rapidly advancing due to policy stability and industrial modernization, starkly contrasting Pakistan's industrial paralysis. Pakistan's macroeconomic challenges include rising inflation, currently at 6.2% year-on-year, driven by food price surges, import dependency, and monetary fiscal contradictions. The broad money supply reached historic highs of Pakistani rupees 40.8 trillion, with the persistent circular debt in energy sector exacerbating price hikes. Economic governance failures and eroding investor confidence have further compromised economic stability. Regarding external support, as per Pakistan's Dawn newspaper, the International Monetary Fund or IMF board is scheduled to meet on December 9 over a proposed $1.2 billion bailout package for Pakistan. This bailout package is a part of the country's ongoing efforts to stabilize its economy amidst mounting debt and dwindling reserves. Since its independence, Pakistan has sought IMF assistance multiple times. Estimates suggest that Pakistan has entered bailout programs with IMF approximately 22 times. These bailouts have aimed to address balance of payment crisis and often come with stringent structural adjustment conditions that impact fiscal and monetary policies. Pakistan's debt situation remains precarious, with a high external debt burden compounded by fiscal deficits. The reliance on repeated IMF bailouts underscores how bad the situation is. The country's economic management challenges are deepened by political instability and inconsistent policy measures. Still, it keeps competing with the 4th largest economy in the world, who does not even see it as a competition. So here's a message for Islamabad. While it's good to compare your work with the masters, it is also important to learn from them. Because Delulu is not the Sululu when you are in deep trouble after all. They say one rotten tomato can spoil the rest in the same basket. Trump's friendship with Jeffrey Epstein is not really helping him at all. Donald Trump is back again in a controversy linked with Epstein. House Democrats have leaked emails from Epstein, and they reveal shocking details about Trump's links with the sex offender. The White House has come out with its statement calling this a hoax and claiming that Trump did not do anything wrong. So what did the emails actually say? Here's a report.
House Democrats released a batch of emails from Jeffrey Epstein's estate that mentioned President Donald Trump. intensifying the ongoing controversy. One particularly striking 2011 email from Epstein to Ghislaine Maxwell states that an alleged victim spent hours at my house with him, referring to Trump, who has never once been mentioned. Epstein described Trump as the dog that hasn't barked, implying Trump's silence on the matter. Maxwell responded, "I have been thinking about that." This email suggests a deeper and previously undisclosed connection between Trump and Epstein's inner circle. Other emails reveal Epstein disparaging Trump's mental state, calling him borderline insane, and claiming he knew how dirty Donald is, hinting at possible undisclosed scandals. In communications with author Michael Wolff, Epstein discussed Trump's relationship with him, including claims that Trump once asked Epstein to resign from Mar-a-Lago and allegedly knew about the girls, asking Ghislaine Maxwell to stop certain activities. However, the full context of these emails is still unclear. House Democrats argue these emails raise serious questions about what Trump knew regarding Epstein's activities and accuse the White House of withholding documents and conducting a cover-up. They call for the full release of all government investigative files related to Epstein to ensure transparency and justice for survivors. The White House and Trump's allies reject these allegations, calling the released emails selectively leaked to create a political smear campaign. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt notes that key victim names, such as Virginia Giuffre, who publicly declared Trump was not involved in wrongdoing, were redacted by Democrats, accusing them of misrepresenting the facts.
These emails prove absolutely nothing other than the fact that President Trump did nothing wrong. And what President Trump has always said is that he was from Palm Beach, and so was Jeffrey Epstein. Jeffrey Epstein was a member at Mar-a-Lago until President Trump kicked him out because Jeffrey Epstein was a pedophile and he was a creep. And this email you refer to with the name of a victim that was unredacted now and has since been reported on in this room, so I will go ahead and say it, Virginia Giuffre. And it was CBS's own reporting, Ouija, that recently wrote that Miss Giuffre maintained, and God rest her soul, that she maintained that there was nothing inappropriate she ever witnessed, that President Trump was always extremely professional and friendly to her. And it just shows how this is truly a manufactured hoax by the Democrat Party.
Republicans on the House Oversight Committee described the Democrats' actions as cherry-picking documents to generate false narratives and maintain that no credible evidence implicates Trump. This battle over the Epstein emails highlights a deep divide in Washington, with Democrats pressing for exhaustive disclosure and Republicans defending Trump against what they call unfounded attacks. The controversy has forced high-level White House meetings and remains a potent political issue, shaping public perception and congressional oversight efforts.
Gold is shining brighter than ever as a safe haven asset given global anxiety and mounting geopolitical tensions. Enter Dubai, a gleaming city with no native gold mines but a meteoric rise as the world's second largest gold trading hub after Switzerland. In 2023 and 2024, Dubai's gold imports surged dramatically, rooted largely in imports from Africa, with Sudan emerging as a critical and controversial source. Despite zero domestic mining, Dubai imports more than 700 tons of gold annually, up 18% in 2024 from previous year, making it a central node in global gold flows. Africa dominates this supply chain, particularly nations like Mali, Ghana, Guinea, Sudan, Chad, and Libya. These countries' vast mineral wealth, combined with Dubai's world-class refining infrastructure and zero tariffs, make it a magnet for gold traders. Turkey and Switzerland act as crucial refining and transit hubs, with Swiss refineries processing much of the gold into jewelry, bullion, and investment-grade products. However, the most controversial trade is from Sudan. Sudan's gold reserves placed it the fifth in Africa's production rankings in 2024, with about 74 tons mined. The UAE imported 29 tons of gold legally from Sudan in 2024, up from 17 tons in 2023. However, these official imports tell only a part of the story. According to Swiss NGO SwissAid and United Nations data, gold smuggling out of Sudan is rampant, often quadrupling official export figures. Most of this gold finds its way to Dubai, often through neighboring countries like Chad, Libya, Egypt, and Ethiopia, which act as exit points for smuggled gold controlled by armed factions like Sudan's paramilitary Rapid Support Forces or RSF. Smuggling exploits weak regulatory frameworks, corruption, and porous borders. Gold is frequently transported in the hand luggage or disguised shipments, escaping scrutiny. Once smelted and refined in Dubai, this gold acquires a new origin, effectively laundering its illicit history and making it clean on the international market. Some reports suggest that gold plays a key role in the conflict in Sudan. The conflict ignited in April 2023 between the National Army and RSF has been devastating, killing tens of thousands and displacing millions. Gold serves as a key financial lifeline for armed groups, notably the RSF, which controls mines and gold trading companies. Revenues from gold sales enable these groups to purchase weapons, drones, and other military hardware, fueling the violence as per some reports. Reports also indicate Russia and the UAE have indirectly supported the conflict through arms and financial channels tied to the gold trade. The UAE has introduced OECD-aligned import rules banning conflict gold since 2023 to improve its reputation and avoid sanctions. Yet, investigations suggest that measures are largely cosmetic, with enforcement lacking, allowing conflict gold to continue to flow through the Emirates' lucrative gold market. The Oracle of Omaha, Warren Buffett, has stepped down. He says that he is going quiet. Well, he has been a legend and an inspiration for investors. He has taught us to be patient with our investments, bet on long term, and be generous. His letters were much awaited by investors, but now there will be no more annual letters from Buffett. But the past ones will remain forever. Here's what we learned from Buffett, and every investor should too.
Warren Buffett, the iconic Oracle of Omaha, is retiring after nearly 6 decades at the helm of Berkshire Hathaway. Now 95 years old, Buffett cited the natural toll of aging, such as slower reading and occasional forgetfulness, as reasons for stepping back. Despite this, he remains active, visiting the office regularly and continuing to influence the company's culture. His longtime deputy, Greg Abel, is set to succeed him as CEO, with Buffett expressing full confidence in Abel's ability to lead. Buffett's career is legendary. He transformed Berkshire Hathaway from a struggling textile mill into a $1.2 trillion diversified conglomerate, and built his reputation on principles like value investing, patience, integrity, and simplicity. His annual letters to shareholders has been regarded as some of the most insightful and influential business writings ever, blending investment wisdom with life lessons. In his last letter, Buffett reflected on his life and legacy with characteristic humility. He praised his late business partner, Charlie Munger, as a mentor and protective big brother, whose guidance was invaluable. Buffett acknowledged that luck played a significant role in his success, but warned that luck has limits, especially as he ages. Here are some key takeaways from Buffett's previous letters. First, mistakes are inevitable. Buffett admitted Berkshire made errors, but emphasized learning from them quickly and moving forward. Second, patience is a premium. He reinforced that investing success comes from long-term holding, famously describing a favorite holding period as forever. Third, reputation over everything. Integrity and honesty are king. Buffett stressed that reputation takes decades to build but can be lost in moments. Fourth, the role of luck. He humbly credited fortune as a big factor and noted its limits as we age or face changing circumstances. Fifth, simplicity and focus win. Invest within your circle of competence and avoid unnecessary complexity or overpaying. Sixth, leadership and governance matter. Buffett voiced concerns around excessive executive pay and the importance of ethical leadership and aligned incentives. Seventh, beware empire building. He warned against growth for growth's sake and praised companies that owners hold on to, hard to buy cheaply. Eighth, accelerated philanthropy. Buffett is donating over $1.3 billion in shares to family foundations now, ensuring his wealth is distributed wisely. Ninth, continuous learning and humility. He stressed the need to learn from mistakes, maintain humility, and improve over time. 10th, legacy goes beyond money. Buffett urged people to live with kindness and purpose, reminding us that greatness is about helping others, not just accumulating wealth. Buffett's farewell marks the end of an era, but his values and investing lessons will endure, guiding investors for generations. As he goes quiet, the oracle's wisdom remains a lighthouse in the uncertain seas of investing and life.
On the evening of November 10, 2025, a powerful car bomb exploded near the iconic Red Fort in New Delhi, killing at least 12 people and injuring many others. The blast occurred at 6:52 p.m. when a white Hyundai i20 parked near the Red Fort metro station's gate number 1 blew amidst low-moving traffic, causing massive destruction in nearby vehicles and local infrastructure. Investigators have identified the driver to be Dr. Umar Nabi, a 29-year-old medical professional linked to a terror module operating out of Faridabad in Haryana. Umar's movements were meticulously pieced together through CCTV footage from across Delhi, over 50 locations, capturing him paying tolls in cash and traveling through various parts of the city on the day of the blast. From footage, Umar parked the car at Suneri Masjid parking lot near Chandni Chowk at 3:19 p.m. and stayed inside the car without leaving until the explosion, indicating a deliberate and premeditated attack. This devastating incident is believed to be a part of a larger terror plan orchestrated by a so-called doctor module associated with the jaish-e-mohammad terrorist group. This network reportedly involves a cluster of young doctors linked to the Al Fateh Medical Campus in Faridabad, with key suspects including Dr. Muzammil Ahmad and Dr. Shaheen Shahid. Investigators discovered a cache of explosives, assault rifles, and ammunition in multiple raids tied to this module, revealing a chilling 5-phase plan to carry out coordinated bombings in 6 locations across Delhi on December 6, 2025, an explosive anniversary date marking the Babri Masjid demolition. Forensic analysis indicates that the bomb likely consisted of high-grade explosives such as PETN, Semtex, or ammonium nitrate fuel oil mixtures. The device appeared to be triggered through a sophisticated timing mechanism, possibly a watch-based timer with button batteries. The investigation revealed tremendous planning and logistical efforts behind the attack. The car used was initially purchased in 2014 and changed hands several times, passing through dealers before ending up in the hands of these terrorists. Authorities recovered multiple vehicles at the terror module's base in Faridabad suspected to be used for transporting explosives and executing further attacks. Among the victims were regular individuals caught in their daily routines, a cab driver heading home, a pharmacist returning from his shop, and countless others whose lives were abruptly ended. The National Investigation Agency, or NIA, has taken over the case, intensifying raids across New Delhi, Haryana and Jammu and Kashmir. They are pursuing leads related to the broader terror network linked to handlers in Turkey and Afghanistan. DNA testing has been crucial in confirming Umar Nabi's identity as the suicide bomber. Now, this attack near a national heritage site sent shockwaves across India and the world, reinforcing the country's alertness to terror threats. The incident prompts swift condemnation from the government and security agencies, highlighting the continuous challenges posed by terror networks that exploit seemingly ordinary professionals and institutions. That's all for this week. I will see you in the next. Till then, keep following ET Now for more such news and views.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.